First of all, I'd like to congratulate all the graduates of this year's K12 International Academy senior class. I remember my high school graduation many years ago, sweltering in heavy graduation robes. Hopefully, you're all celebrating your graduation in air-conditioned comfort, but I'd be remiss if I didn't also congratulate your teachers, administrators, parents, siblings, and mentors. A certain presidential candidate wrote a book and called it "It Takes a Village," and nowhere is that more true than in the case of academic achievement. As graduates of the K12 Academy, you have chosen a non-traditional path, one that provides great promise as you continue to grow on the global stage. You're educational pioneers, and how you've learned during your time at the Academy is as important as what you've learned. We live in an increasingly digital world, and those trends are disrupting higher education and the business world. You're going to have a leg up on college classmates as well as your peers in the workforce because of this experience. But we can't forget that behind all the screens that are a part of our daily lives are other human beings, and we can't lose our humanity along the way. So I was hoping to share a little bit about my life experience and how it relates to the next steps of your journey, and hopefully impart a little bit of wisdom on what makes for a fulfilling career. Like all of you, I can relate to going down the non-traditional path. When I graduated from high school, I didn't expect to one day become the first woman governor of Massachusetts. Then, as I was entering the private sector, I never foresaw being the CEO of a language education provider in Vermont. So, while holding these two very different jobs has been unexpected, it didn't happen by accident. As we go down a path less traveled, we can't just throw the compass by the trailside. We need to have a plan, or at least some very clear goals. But we also need to understand two critical elements that are essential to success. The first element, and perhaps the most important, is passion. That is the most critical thing to any career, or really to any life. Hopefully, you'll all have very long careers, but in order to sustain that success, you have to love what you do. You want to wake up every day excited about getting to work. That means finding something that you're passionate about and figuring out how to make it into a career. For me, the driving force of my career, from the State House to the corporate boardroom, has been education. Education is the issue that inspired me to run for office in the first place when I was 25 years old for the Massachusetts State Senate. And after winning that election, I made reforming the Massachusetts public education system one of my very top priorities. And it was my focus on education that led me to be tapped by Governor Paul Cellucci to be his lieutenant governor, where I became the administration's point person on education. And then, when Governor Cellucci left to become ambassador to Canada, I made education my premier issue when I became governor in my own right. Working on the historic implementation of education reform in Massachusetts was rewarding, and it was challenging. And the results, the most successful education state in the country by nearly all standards, became my public policy legacy. But that mission also helped get me out of bed in the morning when all the public pressures of the job became mentally and physically draining. Some of you are athletes, artists, some of you are actors or musicians, writers or math and science whizzes. Now that doesn't mean you have to make it to the NBA or Broadway or NASA to be measured as successful. But if you can find a way to pursue a career that has a connection to what you love, you'll enjoy your work life a whole lot more. And for those of you who don't yet have a clear passion, not to worry. You're still young, and some people don't discover the right career path until many years in the workforce. It may be something you've never heard of or something you don't even know you like, but keeping your eyes open, embracing risk, and recognizing opportunities when they arrive is the critical element. Success is about hard work and preparation, absolutely, but don't discount the ability to act on the right opportunities when they become available. The second important element is what I referenced earlier, your support network. Who's your village? The amazing thing about the new world of global connectivity is that we can all have friends, teachers, mentors that we've never met in person. Even though you haven't been sitting in desks with your classmates for the past several years, that doesn't mean that you haven't created meaningful relationships with both your fellow graduates as well as your teachers. Keep these relationships alive, both through college and beyond. In any situation, whether it's in the business world or life, relationships are critical to success. During my time at Middlebury Interactive, I feel like we've accomplished a great many things, including making high-quality language courses more accessible to students across the world. Perhaps some of you have taken those courses. I hope so. But the biggest factor in our success isn't our technology or even our terrific world-class curriculum. It's our people who every day join together, sometimes here in Vermont or elsewhere across the country, to complete our important mission. As you progress through college and then build a career, even if it's on a non-traditional path, you're going to make relationships that will hopefully last for decades. I rely on my village quite often for my success. In fact, Middlebury Interactive's Chief Operating Officer started out her career 20 years ago working in my state Senate office. And we both left public service at the same time to pursue different paths, but have found ourselves back together years later, working together with meaningful, impactful work. My career's also been propelled by friends and former colleagues, and I try to help others when I can, making connections. Balancing the needs of career and family is another critical element. My husband, who's a farmer who ran a horse farm in our hometown in Massachusetts for a while, pursued his passion, but he also pursues another passion, which is being the one who stays at home, raising our children. The bulk of his days today are spent being first in line on the home front. He's the one who drops everything to pick up our sick kids at school or drives a forgotten lunch or midterm assignment back to the girls when they leave them on the kitchen table, ensures that we navigate successfully the lives of 3 very busy teenagers and their extracurricular schedules. He's part of my village too, and I wouldn't be able to do what I do if he wasn't doing those things at home. It's a model that works for our family, and other families have other equally important models that work better for them. Many times you're going to need to rely on friends or siblings, cousins, but everyone needs help. Everyone needs that network. Don't be afraid to ask. This is a special day for you and for your families, so I don't want to take up too much of your time, even if you aren't baking in the hot sun like I was for my graduation. Congratulations on your academic achievement. I hope to hear more about your non-traditional paths in the future.